Welcome everyone to this week's reviews of the new releases. To start off, we have the latest sequel to a popular and beloved animated franchise. This one starring our favorite martial arts performing dumpling-eating bear. In Kung Fu Panda 3, Po finally gets to meet his biological family, but a villain from the spirit world has arrived to wreak havoc, and of course, the world has to be saved. Here's a clip.
Everyone gather around. This is my son. Oh, it's you. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, hi. I don't know who you are.
Oh, Stripey baby. So beautiful.
You look just like me, but a baby. You're like me, but old. You're like me, but fatter. You're like me, but with a hat.
I greatly enjoyed the first two Kung Fu Panda films. The first one in particular was a genuine surprise, since the title and marketing just made it look like the typical DreamWorks animated film of the time, and seemed to focus heavily on spoofing the genre. Instead, it ended up being a beautiful homage to the martial arts film genre, and Po was an instantly likable character. I thought Kung Fu Panda 2 was even better, and it's still my favorite in the series, as I think it has the most emotionally involving story and the best villain. Jennifer Yu Nelson, who directed the second film, returns to direct Kung Fu Panda 3, and is joined by Alessandro Caloni. They both do with this film what sequels should do, and that's create a continuation that evolves the characters, while still understanding why they endear to us in the first place. We really get a sense how much Po has matured into the role of the Dragon Warrior since the first movie. Adding the family element was a smart decision, as this becomes a movie about fathers and sons. The new villain, Kai, is great too. Excellently voiced by J.K. Simmons, he's able to be a legitimate threat, but when they make him humorous, it works. The animation is also absolutely beautiful, with the colors being fantastically chosen, and I like how the film flips between styles. The kung fu sequences are amazingly choreographed, continuing the high mark of quality the films have in that department. If I have a criticism here, it's one I also have about the previous films. There's really no reason to get celebrities to voice the Furious Five. They don't add a whole lot to the role, specifically since they play a much smaller part here. Seriously, why did they hire Jackie Chan to voice Monkey if he only has about 15 lines in the entire trilogy? This also extends to the decision to hire Kate Hudson as the voice of new character Mei Mei. Originally, this character was going to be voiced by Rebel Wilson, and it shows in the movements and dialogue for the character. Hudson's voice just doesn't fit, and it was a little distracting. That said, that's only a minor distraction. I will say that Bryan Cranston was a wonderful casting choice to play Po's biological father. Overall, I found this to be a very satisfying chapter in what I assume is the last Kung Fu Panda film. And if it is, they certainly ended it on a strong note. If you've been waiting for a really good animated film to take yourself, or your family to, then this is the right fit. Next up, we have the true story of the Boston Coast Guard going out into a terrible storm to save the crew on an oil tanker. This is The Finest Hours.
Feel that? She's drifting. Must have lost the tiller. We got slower headway. We're gonna miss that shoal for good. Close the governor valves. Cut the propulsion. We gotta isolate the boiler. We gotta conserve everything she's got left.
I keep telling you, Baloo, this boat's just bad luck.
Just from the plot description, this should be a really exciting story. Unfortunately, it's a very ordinary and directed with not much spark. To its credit, the production side of it is strong, as the water effects are great and the cinematography does an especially good job of taking you inside the oil tanker. The actors are also very good, with Chris Pine being a solid lead, and Holliday Grainger is also quite good as his fiancée. Casey Affleck is the standout though, playing the man trying to keep his crew under control, and his performance is the most memorable aspect of this film. However, I felt The Finest Hours really dragged, and after many scenes of the Coast Guard ship rocking in the water, or the people back in the port listening to the radio, I started getting a little tired of the story's repetitiveness. The characters are also fairly one-dimensional, which made it hard for me to be emotionally invested, especially when you have a conflict between Chris Pine and Ben Foster, which felt shoehorned in, whether it happened in real life or not. The Finest Hours is just sort of unremarkable, and it's not a film I will remember much of after this week. A noble effort, but I didn't find myself all that engaged. Well, that's it for this week. I'll see you next time, and let me know in the comments what you thought of either of these movies.